Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm here with another special guest, Kay Sauter, who is joining us all the way from Switzerland. Kai is one of the well-known Microsoft MVP and a data expert who is passionate about making data work better for everyone. He is the one who founded the Data TGIF, which is one of the popular community initiative of Switzerland. So today we will talk about his journey with data, his favorite tools and techniques, and why building community matters so much in tech industry. But before we proceed further, I would like to thank Kai for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us something about yourself.
Thank you for inviting me to this podcast first. It's very and enjoy to see you as well. I missed you a few times. I think to a summit. I don't think we've met at a summit. So another instance maybe as well. So very nice to see you. Um, yeah, my name is Kay Sauter. I've been an Microsoft MVP now since a bit more than 2 years. I specialize a bit in automating data, so automating like how to load data, how to get data into Azure, for example, or also into Fabric. So it's data automation. That's actually something that I really love to do.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we look towards your journey, so it seems like you have been working with data since 2008. So, which is very long time now, right? So, what initially drew you to this particular domain, and how has your relationship with data evolved over the year?
Yeah, so I mean, back in 2008, when I started to work with data, I was in controlling, actually marketing controlling. So what I was given was Excel, a lot of Excel stuff I did to analyze data for the marketing people in my
Mhm.
department. And I quickly became the one who automated things with VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, Microsoft's Office Suite macro language. So I started to automate things there, and from then on I got more and more into databases because the data I received kept accumulating, and also it started to work for other data validation for other departments. And that's how I started it. And I also learned what you can do with data in terms on how to tell a story of with data, right? So if you have a company, you get numbers like how much items is sold or what kind of revenue you have and stuff like this. So in a way, those kind of numbers in data visualization can actually tell you the story of your company. So
Mhm.
whether it's just a month or 2 months back, or even a year, or maybe even 3 years, you
Okay.
can see how everything developed, and that's actually was what drew me into it. And I was fascinated also with the logic of how to give not just numbers, but also visualization, how we develop, let's say, with charts. So, for example, with line charts and stuff like this. So you have a easy understanding of your own data. And from then on, actually, also got into business intelligence. That means to work with data, to how to categorize your data, how to historize your data, and stuff like this. So that was it's a process that went on. Eventually got like maybe 5 years ago, a bit more accidentally into the topic of database administration. So it is too nowadays actually a bit more data engineer, data scientist, something like this.
Okay. And I think the same path and same passion led you to become two times, not two times, but in two category, you have been recognized as a Microsoft MVP, right? For a multiple years.
So yes, I'm a Azure MVP for PowerShell and also did the platform category for Azure SQL. So actually, what I did is something that is pretty much intersecting. So I published a while ago, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, perhaps even more. Yeah, so I published a script, a longer script describing on how you can actually automate um, basically so you can deploy VM, Azure SQL VM in a way of infrastructure as code. So you can reuse the code to deploy it on a VM, and you can also restore your database with DBA tools. That's actually also a great community-driven PowerShell framework that is open sourced, was invented by Chris Lemaire, who actually also named me as a nominated me as an MVP. So that's um, everything combined. This script describes how you can use it. And if you
Mhm.
are a DBA, you might not be too much big in terms of infrastructure per se, like I am. I was never really the infrastructure engineer, like Azure infrastructure, something like this, but more like I had to develop a system where the company was in very small company actually. So like we had at each peak like 12 people. The department I was in, we were only including me 3 people. So that's something I had to develop that we have a platform to develop things on the database we had.
Okay. All right. And I think, Kai, apart from being a Microsoft MVP and data expert, you are also contributing with so many great initiatives. And one of them
Yeah.
is TGIF. So could you please tell
Yeah.
us a bit about this data TGIF, what exactly it is, and how it is contributing to the Microsoft community?
So yes, this is also something I started out of the company I just told you. It's a small company. It
Yeah.
was during the peak of the pandemic actually. So when we had also had a shutdown here in Switzerland. I live in Zurich, so
Mm-hmm.
we also had a shutdown in terms of couldn't move out and also very pretty isolated. And I was thinking, I can't be the only engineer who has basically the same problem. So
Right.
we would basically um, try to interact with people. So I created a data DGF. So it's actually just an online only community that it's basically about anything about the data stack by Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Initially was mostly about the Azure SQL stuff like this, but I also had people talking about Power BI. I also had people talking about Fabric. So it's just the focus is this. So initially it was just to hang out together. That's also why we have basically relatively special format in DTRGF. That means we talk 30 minutes instead of like 1 hour, just 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes of format. And afterwards, we just talk with each other in network with speaker. We have people coming from Singapore to Argentina, also Europe, of course, everything in between. So that's really amazing that we can bring together in one place in the
Yes.
online community to get to talk about anything about yeah. So TTDGF happens every third Friday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at 5 o'clock Swiss time, Central European time, or Central European summertime. Now it's summertime again. Either of the winter is just without the summertime. So it's What we do is just to talk together. TGIF means thank you, thank God it's Friday, but it
Okay.
has no religious meaning or something like this. Just it's just the English culture of celebrating the Friday evening because we are going to do the weekend. So the work week is behind us, and we just celebrate it together. Also, it's something like this. So it has nothing to do with religion. It's just something that is to sit together and hang out and chat and have fun with data.
Okay. All right. And I think apart from this, you are also involved in multiple other community initiatives like Data Bash and DEI Virtual Group. And in fact, one more thing is there, that is, you also contributed through Data Conference Switzerland, right? So, what do you think? Like,
Yep.
why this kind of community building is so important in terms of data space or overall for the for the IT industry?
Yeah. So I think for me, I could just talk about me. For me, it's something that I enjoy is to collaborate together. So it's not just
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said before during the pandemic, I was with alone. I was actually just working on a lot of things quite alone. So I felt lonely, and I also felt like after the pandemic, this is actually something you can also do broader. You can also do friendships, for example. You know about Deepti Kokuri, for example, who have also a close friendship, and other community people that I have also here in Switzerland. Have built some friendships here as well. So it's something that is if you have something that you have a passion for, it's easy to connect with other people. That's one. And another is I like to share my knowledge.
Yes.
I like to contribute to the community in terms of improve stuff, like contribute code ideas, like I said, with the SQL PowerShell. Ideas that can help other people to improve their own daily life, whether it's just understanding data in the private life, or just also coding in their job life. So it's something that I have always found fun. So it's something I really like to do. So I'm involved in Data DGIF. That's one. I'm involved with Data Bash. That's an online only conference that I got into life some years back. I think this year we have the fourth edition of it. And last year I also created with others the Data Platform Conference Switzerland, which is an
Okay.
in-person conference here in Zurich. We had the first at the Ignoral conference last year. So this year we are going to have it the second time again too.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about your core expertise, that is working with data. So we all know that working with data is not that easy for everyone because everyone has their own approach. They have their own strategy to work and deal with the data related thing. So in your expertise, like what's your approach to designing effective data solution on Microsoft data platform? Like, is there any particular or key principle that you follow in order to maintain your data?
Oh, that's a very broad question. So that's a good question, but it's extremely broad. I mean, it's what I find very useful is to have a holistic view approach of the data. Problem you
Mhm.
want to solve, because in the end you always want to solve something for the business, right? Because the business is something that is a department that basically finances everything. So you have to also work towards to them. You have to solve a problem for them. Another is to have to think about. the cost and value relationship. So what I mean, we always can strive to have the best of the optimal solution, but sometimes that could be too expensive. So we have to also make some compromises, and oftentimes you have to do
Mhm.
this anyways because you have other systems that build constraints to your solution you might want to build anyways. So you are not really completely free usually, unless you really have a greenfield project, but that's not something you see every day, right? So you have to start at some point
Right.
and see what makes sense. From that on, you have to build an architecture that has um, data quality in mind, for example. So data quality is an important aspect to me. Also, data security is an important aspect to me, and also so the availability to the right people. So what kind of data they need, and what kind of data, what kind of use they have for their data. So this comes all a bit together, and if you have to do this, also you have to really to set up something like this, then you have to think about the architecture in general. That means oftentimes you have to discuss it with the business owners from other areas. You have to
Mhm.
discuss with technical owners, for example. You have to discuss about the cost owners and stuff like this. That's how you get a solution usually. That's so there's a broad, more strategic question to it. Because also, I mean, in the end, usually what I build is something that is in the proximity of a data warehouse, right? So data warehouse is a strategic database for the management usually. So they have access to
Mhm.
data for underlying data for their decisions, right? So, for example, what kind of revenue they have, what kind of budget they have, what kind of achievement they did, what budgets or maybe in danger of achieving it. So maybe they want to invest something like this. So it's really the groundwork for their decisions. So.
Okay. All right. And you also automate so many things using Power BI and PowerShell and Python scripts as well. So what is the most impactful automation you have built so far, and how it has changed your workflow? Is there anything special or any particular project which is close to your heart?
Yeah, I mean, I have basically I have two things that I really like. It's the PowerShell script I was talking about before. That was the deploying Azure VM is something that really was fun to work with because I had weeks on it basically to work on it. So every now and then when I had time, I would work on it. So I would just really develop something that I think would helping me to develop new things. And
Mhm.
recently, I created for Fabric a Python script
Yeah.
that is also shared on my blog. Is to teach people how to automate CSV loads into a lakehouse of Fabric. So it's how to make it easier, but also to help give basically help to how to learn Python, PySpark, how to work with it, and not just have an idea how what you could do this
Right.
with PySpark with it.
Okay. And one more thing I noticed that whenever there is a discussion regarding the data visualization in Power BI, so still people or organization are a bit confused, and they might they are facing some challenges sometime. Although like it looks like a straightforward to a data expert like yourself, but still there are some issues with organizations. So what do you think? Like, what are those common mistakes do you see in data visualization and how people can create a dashboard that truly communicate the value when for whatever purpose they are designing it.
So dashboard wise, what I often see as a mistake, or let's put it that way, um, a bad design, in my opinion, is
Mhm.
pie charts. Pie charts are by far the worst um, style of charts you can make because the problem with pie chart is they use a lot of space if you compare it with other charts that are available.
Mhm.
Another reason is you can't compare it to anything. So let's say you want to compare your chart with the same data from last year, for example, with a pie chart, you can't do this. And
Yeah.
what makes it even worse is the humans' eyes are not really made for compare areas. Like areas, if it doesn't have a pie chart, let's say you have three areas in your pie chart,
Mhm.
then it can be very challenging to make sense of this in terms of which
Uh,
one is now, let's say, uh, 48% and which one is 52%. And to really guess which one is bigger can be challenging, especially if three or four areas. Then if you
Mhm.
have areas that have are about the same areas, then it gets very hard to do. So I usually advise people not to use any pie charts, but
Okay.
the like a column charts or bar charts. That's usually better because you also have the possibility to, especially if you use bar charts, those are the horizontal charts. Then you also can, for example, sort them. For example, you have, say, a product, you want to know which product has sold the most the last few months. Then
Mhm.
you can also just pile up and also sort with the most sales. And the bar chart with the vertical lines basically is great if you have a time spaced thing. So for a month, for example, over a month, from January to December, and you can also have a logical way of data. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And now if we talk about the tools, so you have worked with TSQL, PowerShell, Python, right? So do you have any
Yep.
particular use case or a project that showcase that whenever we are using these three tools together, they provide more efficiency? So is there anything something like that?
What's hard, the problem is Python and PowerShell get very hard to do together. So it's
Okay.
but what I have is with the VMs with the deployment of VMs, Azure SQL VMs.
Mm-hmm.
We have we don't really have T-SQL here, but theoretically we also can do T-SQL stuff, especially with DBA tools. You can also actually put queries into this. If you want to use Python, you also can use SQL easily. So there are frameworks like Alchemy, for example, Alchemy that have the possibility of this. Of course, also PySpark can also do SQL. It's not necessarily T-SQL, but T-SQL with ANSI SQL is very similar. So if you know T-SQL, don't be afraid of ANSI SQL.
Okay.
It's I would say to 90, maybe 95% the same. There are just a few things that are not the same. For example, T-SQL you have selected top 1,000 asterisks from table, right? So it's but if you want to do something like this with top 1,000, that's a T-SQL, then you have to have something like select asterisks from table, um, limit 1,000. So that's the top select part basically comes in the end, and the term is a bit different. It's called limit. That's it. It's very similar.
All right. Okay, so I think now it's time to move from technical to your philosophical or your personal insights. So let's start with the definition of success, because for every person there is a different definition of success. So at this stage of your career, what do you think? What does success mean to you, both professionally and personally?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you said, I'm also a member of the virtual group of DEI, the Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion Group. That's a great example for me as well, because I also engaging with minorities because I'm a minority myself. Actually, I look like elder white man. Of course, I do, but I'm deaf. So I have a handicap since my birth. But it's something that I also see a chance to help others. And I think if you are successful, you should also try to help other people.
Yes.
So in any way you want, it doesn't really matter what kind of way you really want. But if you support other people, I think that not just means you have had some success, but
Yes.
it also means you can also still grow out at what on yourself, and you can still win more of this. I also usually mentor people like 1 to 3 times per year. So if any one of the your viewers wants to have some mentorship
Mhm.
with speaking in data, you can reach out to me, and I'm available for a mentorship. Do try to help people to start with speaking, whether it is at a conference or if it's at my user group.
Mhm.
If you want to speak at my user group, then yeah, you get prioritized if you are a new speaker. So I want to have new speakers always also in my group. So this is one thing. Another is success means for me is to really have the possibility to continually learn new things. So I started out from Excel, for example, from Access to SQL Server to data visualization. I became a DBA, data engineer with data science. Nowadays, I'm actually more a data architect. So it's a really a step up what you do. You can do it throughout your career, and you always can learn something new. You can step up to do something new. And I think my journey of learning will never stop. So it's something that's it's also what I think is a form of success.
All right. Okay, fine. So, although we have many things to discuss, Kai, but we are short on time. So, I just want to take my last question, and it is related to the key person who have helped you in your journey to make you a better person in your professional as well as personal career, personal life. So, who were those person who played a vital role in your journey?
Yeah, um, there were a lot of people. I mean, first of course, my family, my parents, my sister and brother, my wife. They all had a very crucial part of my being, how I learned, how I yeah, my wife is also supporting me to go on conferences. That means sometimes that I just program a bit too much on the weekends, and you know this, right? Um, but also people like friendships, like as I mentioned before, Deepti Goguri, or also Charlie Hanania in Switzerland is another MP, Nicola Illich, who is also known as Data Mozart in Austria, Tom Martins also in Germany, a lot of other people across the world. So it's really hard to pinpoint some people. But
Yes.
there were some people that really were inspiring to me throughout my career, like Thomas Laroque in the beginning of my career, like in 2008, who wrote, in the beginning he was writing about Excel stuff, data visualization. That's how I actually really paid attention to business intelligence. Um, First time like 17 years ago now. So it's that's also Brent Osart, I think was also influential for me like 7 years ago when I came to more into database administration, and many others. I can't really count everyone.
Yes.
Chris Limmer, of course, who nominated me to be MVP. Sander Staat, who was a mentor for my first speaking, actually, at Data Weekender. So really a lot of people. I don't like to pinpoint really someone because there were countless people. I read a lot of blogs in my career. There were really a lot of different kind of ones. Yeah, so I think you know this too. So you get influences from everyone and everywhere. So it's very hard to pinpoint.
Correct. All right. So thank you so much, Kai, for joining us in this episode and for talking so much about data as well as your core expertise, Power BI, and so many other things. So it was really very nice talking with you. And thank you once again for being
Likewise.
part of the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Love to.